Hello, friends. My name is Dave Miller.
And my name is Niall Spain, and we are your fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we take questions either from our lovely listeners or from the World Wide Web, and we answer them on the topic of sex and dating.
I feel like when we recorded last week, the world was imploding. And this week, I feel like nothing's happening. I know that's not true. I know the world is still in a very dire situation, but like in comparison to what I was feeling last week when we recorded to this week, I'm just in like a very mellow place.
Well, happy second impeachment day.
Well, I think that happens on the 19th.
Well, no, he's officially impeached as of this moment. So he's the only president to have been impeached twice. Now it goes to step 2, where I guess you see if the impeachment has any consequences, as far as I'm aware. Because he was impeached. It was just like nothing fucking happened as a result of it. Like that's the insane thing to me. It's like, you've been impeached. It's like, imagine if there was like, oh man, I got fired yesterday. What? But you're at work. Yeah. Nothing happened though. It's like, what?
I decided that I wasn't.
Yeah, but it's like, oh, I didn't get like fired. Like I didn't get the consequences of being fired. Still got fired though.
So I'm interested because last time it happened, it didn't go through because for whatever reason, the president is allowed to be like, hey, I'm not going to let the defending side is allowed to be like, hey, so we're just not going to let any of your evidence through.
Yeah, which seems like just a bad process. I don't know.
Yeah, imagine like if just in criminal trials, the person who was convicted of murdering someone, like on camera and like confession, was just like, hey, so I know you have a video of me killing the person, and then looking directly into the camera and saying, hey, I killed this man.
Mm-hmm.
Just not gonna let you use it.
Yeah, if that was the case, good old Canadian serial killer Ted Bundy would still be roaming free, and we'd all have a little bit happier lives.
To be fair, the Canadian justice system is just as much of a joke. Did you know that if you were to commit a crime, say if you were to murder someone,
mm-hmm.
you might as well murder multiple people?
Oh yeah, because you only get charged for one or something, right?
No, you serve the sentences at the same time.
That's
or
so dumb.
Do a bunch of lesser crimes. So like say, oops, in a fit of rage, I've killed my best friend.
You may as well like get everything else out of your system before they catch you.
Yeah, you might as well be like, well, cool, I've always wanted to burn down a Walmart, and while in there, I'm just gonna loot the shit out. I'm just gonna steal as much as I can. Have like a Shawshank Redemption like treasure pile under a tree or something. Like, why not? Anyway, this has been
it's our legal advice podcast.
Yeah, this is us not understanding how the legal process works in North American countries.
But you see, only 10 fucking Republicans voted for out of like 210. 10 of them voted for impeachment. 200 were like, we're okay with this. Anyway, let's move on.
The party lines are so stupid. Yeah. Anyway, we're here for your sex lines.
Yes, your sex party lines. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Republicans and the Demthisocrats. This is by Beautiful Baker, 9955.
Nice.
I don't know where to ask this, but devices shown in your spouse's Bluetooth don't just appear, right? My female 27 phone broke. Went to use my boyfriend's 30 male. Went to connect my Bluetooth headphones, and when I went to the Bluetooth settings, it had a shower speaker and a Samsung sound tower in saved devices. We do not own these. He says he's never even seen a shower speaker, doesn't know how these two devices appeared, etc., etc. Pretty sure you have to give a device permission before it will connect and save, right? Is he lying? Been together almost 3 years. USA, if that matters.
It does matter, thankfully.
Yes, like they do add themselves willy-nilly in every other country, but in USA, no. That just does not happen.
I think she's got a point, because I just opened up my Bluetooth connectors, and...
Your Bluetooth connectors?
Yes, you know what I mean. The only thing on here are things that I've connected to. And right. I'm sure that, like, I have come in contact with other Bluetooth devices.
Yes, you've definitely come in contact with other ones, I am sure.
Especially considering we used to play Pathfinder at our good friend's house, it's like a tech playground in there.
Yeah, it's hard to get out there without some kind of Bluetooth just latching onto you physically.
Yeah. So I think she's got a point in the sense that this man has, at some point in time, connected to these devices.
Yes. Now, I love how she seems to be going immediately to the like, yeah, shower speaker must mean he's cheating on me. It's very possible someone at work or like, a friend's house or even like a park hangout had a Bluetooth device that he just connected to that was called shower speaker that either was used as one or wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I just got a waterproof speaker that I don't know what it's called, but I will be planning to use it both outdoors and in the shower. Um, so it doesn't immediately mean
Hey, hey, hey.
something sinister.
With who?
With who? What?
With who are you listening to the music in the shower with, huh?
What? What?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Got you there.
What do you mean?
Got you there.
What do you mean?
Nailed it.
What do you mean? Who?
Case
Shit.
closed.
Can you cut this out so people don't know that I have showers with anybody else?
Also, like, depending on how long this guy's had his phone, like, there are two things there that I'm like, I think I know what those are. Pretty sure I know what they are. But like, this guy could have connected at some point to a party
Mm-hmm.
or a parent's house or anything, and like just been like, oops, like it was 4 years ago. I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, he's had the phone for 3 months, or sorry, for 3 years, and it's been
Okay, that was different. I was gonna say if it was 3 months,
no 3
then
years, and they've been together that entire time.
yeah, like you said, it's like just because it's called a shower speaker doesn't mean it was in a shower.
Mm-hmm. So I mainly brought this to the podcast because I thought it was interesting anyway. And we've been dealing with a lot of like overbearing jealousy and like weird kind of like snoopiness. So the plot is about to thicken. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So this is in the comments. He is pretty reclusive and has never, to my knowledge, gone over to a friend's house.
What?
She claims he has never gone to a friend's house.
Okay.
That seems unhealthy for 3 years.
Yeah. Also, if he's never gone over to a friend's house, what excuse is he using to get out for his secret sexy shower times?
That's the thing. It's like if you can, with confidence, be like, I know he's never been to a friend's house, which one? Like that seems like a very unhealthy lifestyle.
I mean, hey, like take it outside, you know what I mean? If this was again like a 3 month fucking phone, like you mistakenly said, it's like, okay, quarantine, great. He hasn't been to a friend's house in 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
But for 3 years, 2 of those years were pre the dark ages.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are you telling me that for 3 years you can say that your boyfriend has never hung out with a friend? Does he have friends? Oh, that's sort of like you can't be like, oh, I'm out with the boys while you're having, your musical shower sex.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like one, kind of unhealthy if this has never happened. Two, it seems really overbearing that you're like, I know he's never been to a friend's house. At three, it's like even with this level of knowledge and this level of like, if you can account for their movements for 3 years, what do you think is happening?
Yeah, how would you not be able to be like, oh, hey, he's got a schedule that he maintains like clockwork, never deviates from it because he doesn't visit friends.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow in there, he has managed to creep away and salaciously connect to mysterious Bluetooth devices.
I feel like this is one of those cases of like, if there was other stuff going on, sure, maybe this could be the nail in the coffin. But like when you claim to have so much knowledge of this person's day-to-day activities, it's got to be the least damning piece of evidence, right? Especially because like she's very upset that in his words he's never even seen a shower speaker before, and in her words in the comments that means he protests too much. But it's like maybe he thinks it's a specifically like built-in shower speaker or something. I don't know. Maybe it's just a speaker someone rests on the sink while they're in the shower. It could be anything. There's so little to go on here, but so much being inferred. And again, it goes back to what we were saying last week, and probably every time we're going to talk about this. If you don't trust someone, don't date them.
I love that, like, she was like, hey, what about this? I don't know, I've never seen it. Oh, really?
Right.
Like, what is the answer to that question? Like, if he's like, I don't know what that is, I've never seen it.
Mm-hmm.
The only other answer he could say is, yeah, I know what that is. It's this. Which, if that's not the correct answer, like if he actually doesn't know what it is, then like, whether or not you recognize something is a binary answer. Unless like you're just like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. Shrug, but even that's more of a no than a yes. I don't know. Yes, I think this is a case of you need to fucking chill.
Hmm.
And if that's not possible for you, you need to do a hard 3-year deep dive and figure out if at any point in time when he said he might have gone to a friend's house, he was actually having shower sex to the sweet, sweet sounds of, I don't know, genuine.
But he never went to a single friend's house in 3 years, Dan. She knows this.
There must be a mistake somewhere. Somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to say other than this is lunacy.
Yeah. I think if everything here is true, then you need to both get some friends, or at least some like outlets other than yourselves, because clearly this has become a pit of some kind in this relationship. Logically, there are so many opportunities for you to have connected to a Bluetooth device. If he doesn't see friends, it's probably at work. Also, is it a brand new phone? If not, there might just be, stuff that was kind of left on there.
Does it, like, I would love to know what he does for, like, is he in a factory or a warehouse or some shit? Because like chance like every or a kitchen, like the
Mhm.
amount of like places in which people use Bluetooth like speakers
Yeah,
to
these
do
days
like
it's like,
also at parties. Like I can't tell you, I'm actually shocked there aren't more Bluetooth things on my phone because the amount of times I connect
yeah,
to
no,
like random
100%.
people's fucking speakers and shit at their houses. I
Mhm.
mean, I guess now it's all like Spotify has that like connect thing, so you don't have to use Bluetooth, but
So yeah, advice: get over it.
yeah, just either decide that your boyfriend's cheating on you and you can't trust him anymore and leave, or accept the fact that, these Bluetooth things don't really mean anything, especially if, like, this is the only sort of hint you have at him being unfaithful.
The possibility of him just having it connected to a speaker at some point in 3 years and forgetting about it is pretty high.
Also, if you had access to your phone, are you telling me this person saw these suspicious Bluetooth and then didn't check his email or his messages?
Yeah, exactly.
Because, like, if I was this paranoid and I had the evidence in my hand, I would almost immediately go and like check through text and shit if I was
Yeah,
on the case to something like this.
and I'm assuming they did, found nothing, and that's why Reddit about the devices was step two.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, I'm done with this person. Okay, this is a bit of a journey, and by that I mean it's fairly long. So I'll try to get through it quickly. This comes from a Reddit throwaway account. The title is "Girlfriend named our son after her ex. I'm refusing to sign the birth certificate until she changes it." This is our first child, and he was born a few days ago. We've been together for 4 years, and he wasn't really planned, as I don't believe we're in a stable enough position to have children. She was supposedly on the pill, as neither of us like the feel of condoms, but that's another story. She dated a guy for about 8 years, and he was her first boyfriend. The story is that they drifted apart, and he ended it, but she was still in love with him. We met a few months later, and we were friends before we started dating. I got the impression that she was never really over him at the start of the relationship, but it seems she moved on after the years, and moved back to our city 2 years ago. She didn't seem that phased. We met him twice, and there didn't seem to be anything weird going on, so I assumed she was completely over him. When we discovered she was pregnant, it was her decision to keep it. I said we weren't ready for children yet, as we weren't married and didn't own a place, but she was adamant on keeping it. We argued back and forth over names and went through various, okay, we have 5 vetoes each. But around 2 months ago, we settled on a name that we were both happy with. The baby is born, everyone is smiles, and we're finally back home. It's time to register the birth, and I need to sign the birth certificate. However, to my surprise, the baby isn't called the name we agreed upon, but the same name as her ex. Not just the same name, but the same middle name as well, and then our surnames. After we agreed we'd use both our surnames and forego the use of a middle name. I couldn't blow my top, of course, as she's still recuperating at home, plus this whole worldwide mess going on, so I should be happy all three of us are back home and safe. I did, however, ask her about it. She said that it was just a spur of the moment thing, or she'll fob me off by saying she's too exhausted to talk about it. She's been fobbing me off for a few days now, so in the end, I told her calmly that I'm not signing the birth certificate until we change the name back to what we agreed. This caused a bit of a row with her, and she's now refusing to talk to me until I sign the certificate and agree to the name. I'm at somewhat of a loss as to what to do. I didn't want a child in the first place, but I was browbeaten going along with it, and now the name we agreed upon is taken away from me. To add insult to injury, she's changed the name of the boy after her ex, and now I'm plagued with doubt and wondering if I should get a paternity test or whether she's still in love with him.
I didn't enjoy that journey.
You know, it's not a great
I
one.
I really did. I know that was displeasurable. Unpleasure. That was not pleasurable. I don't know. I've forgotten words because that was so. unenjoyable to live through, even secondhand. So, firstly, condolences, because that sucks. That's a wild move, though.
Yeah.
That's some powerful like bad TV kind of like energy. Like I would expect that from a terrible soap opera.
Yeah, this is like a Riverdale move.
Yes, exactly. Like it's the kind of thing that like you would laugh through watching it on a TV show, even while being like, "This would never happen. This is dumb." You can't just do that. Also, okay, first things first. Do not give in. Right. I think that's the main thing here, right? Because like you give in, then like where does it end?
Yeah.
I think that's got to be our first port of call. Do not give in. Do not sign this birth certificate.
Yeah, you definitely need to like sit down and be like, you understand that this is insane, right? I mean,
Yeah.
like it's so hard because like I can't imagine any conversation of like sitting down with someone and being like, "Hey, did you really choose your ex-boyfriend's name as the name of our child?"
And even the first name would be one thing, but like first and middle name, so it's like you can't even claim like, oh, I just like the name. It's like this is very specific.
Yeah, it's specifically referencing someone you had a romantic relationship, which is as a wild move. And then tack it on to the fact that like you guys agreed on a name. Like you
Yeah.
made an agreement and you decided by yourself, which this is kind of the theme of the relationship as well. It's like he didn't think they were ready for a kid, but she chose that they were.
hmm
And this dude is like, well, okay, I guess this is happening. So it's like she just kind of steamrolls him.
Yeah, I think now is the time. If you haven't stood up for yourself hardcore before, you need to now because you have a child, and like your response to these situations no longer just affects yourself. Like you might be able to live with, fuck, I guess I let her have her way and now we have a kid, or I let her have her way and now we have this. But like you're now no longer just responsible for yourself, you're responsible for another life. And you can't just let this person make unilateral decisions, especially when their decision making skills seem to suck. Or at least be cruel.
The problem here is you're going to be taking care of this kid for 18 years, however long he's dependent, but like your mental state will directly impact this kid's entire life forever.
Mhm.
And if you look at this kid and resent him, or recognize your moment of weakness of letting her do this, or any of those emotions are going to filter into how you raise this child. And how you raise this child is going, like I said, going to affect this kid forever.
Yeah, it's their
So
whole ass life.
you know what I mean? Like, even if he's the sweetest kid and, he looks up to you with all, he regards you as the greatest person. If you're always sort of being like, meh, like, fuck this kid, I never wanted him, and now he's got the name of my ex or her ex. Like, that's not a good mental state to go into a nourishing and, nurturing relationship.
Yeah, well, let's be fair. The name of the ex, like, even if you guys had decided on Bob, and she gets the birth certificate and is like, nah, his name is Dane. Like that would be a problem, even if you didn't know a Dane. Even if she hadn't named it after her favorite podcast host, even anything like that. If it was just a different name that you decided, that itself is a problem because
Yeah,
this
well, not
this
to be
is
not to be biased, it is a great name.
it is a great Dane. I mean, great name. That would be an issue. This is that issue and even worse. Like, so firstly, do not at all back down. At the very least, you guys need to fucking talk this out. Two, have you checked her Bluetooth devices to see if there's a shower speaker in there? Because if
Damn.
there is, guess what? Paternity test time.
And I don't really believe in this kind of shit.
You don't believe in what shit.
In the, like, again, we're talking about like trusting people, blah blah blah. But there's a kid involved, so now I don't see the harm in getting a paternity test.
The harm is she's gonna fucking flip her shit
Well, you
because
don't need her involved.
I don't know. I don't know the process.
You just need like a swab from the kid and a swab from the parent.
That's fair. It's your kid.
Yeah. Like if you test against the kid and you and it's not a match, then it's like, well, guess what, buddy? You don't have to worry about having a kid. It
Yeah.
sucks. It's gonna open a whole new can of fucking hurt and pain and shit. But you didn't want a kid. You didn't think you were ready for a kid, and hooray!
Well, that's actually a very that's a pretty fair thing. Like, if you're thinking about getting a paternity test, I think you should get one just to
Yeah,
clear your own head. I do not think you even need to tell her. And like for all I know, this is like a postpartum thing where she's freaking out because of X, Y, and Z, and has just made this decision. Like she might not be thinking rationally. I don't really know how postpartum works. This just seems like a wild situation. But for your own like you know state of mental health, maybe go get one. Don't let her know. It's fine. See how it is. And if things are all on the right, then you can like breathe a sigh of relief and maybe have this conversation with her, knowing that things aren't as bad as you fear, because that'll
Yeah,
help you stay grounded. And it'll help things turn from this giant argument, which is, I'd say probable at this point. And it'll help at least you kind of like know where you're coming from. If it is worse news, then hey, guess what? You don't have a kid anymore, I guess. So that's cool because you didn't want one anyway.
yeah. I mean, like, you don't really win unless she sort of comes to her senses and be like, "Oh, hey, yeah, naming this kid." But like, even then, I think this is a hard thing to walk back from. Like, even if she is sort of like, "Oh shit, yeah, you're right. This is kind of fuck." You're always gonna have that like voice in the back of the head be like, "This kid was supposed to be named after her ex."
Yeah, it's a really weird thing. But like the worst thing is like if it is your kid and all that, like you're put in such a shitty position because it's like you don't really have much choice other than to move past it. Like obviously you could get like well, they're not married, right?
No,
Like you
I
could
don't
break
think
up,
no.
but like, that's such a shitty position to be put in when you now have a kid with someone because like presumably you don't want to just wipe your hands of the whole affair, especially if it is your kid, and even legally you might not be allowed to do so. So it's like, yeah, it's a shitty situation because how do you come back from that? But I think, you know first things first, get that paternity test, get your own mind calmed. um and if things are fine, then talk to her, and don't be browbeaten because this isn't it isn't a low stakes decision. Like it's huge. It affects this person's life for the rest of their life, and it affects your life for the rest of your life too. Also, like, if for some reason she has nothing to do with this guy, what happens the day she posts like, "Oh, happy birthday to Tyler Dunham Gray," and Tyler Dunham sees it and is like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and everyone who knows Tyler Dunham
That's the
and
other
their
thing, it's like, she
relationship.
has a history as well, you know what I mean? It's like, her friends aren't gonna forget about this guy she dated for 8 years, I think it said, or some bullshit.
Yeah,
It's like
especially if she's this head over heels about him, and it's like he's gonna see that, the friends are gonna see that, everyone's gonna see it, and everyone's gonna be like, "This is fucking strange, man."
yeah, so I think the talking points for your conversation should be like, "Hey, number 1, it's gonna be like, I already didn't wanna have a kid, but here we are. If we move forward with, like, naming our kid after your ex, I can't promise that's not going to manifest as resentment. And I don't want to raise a child with that, that kind of energy. And if she doesn't understand that, you have to make that clear. Be like, you have to understand this, right? And if you can find an example, like if you have an ex or if there, you know what I mean? It's like, imagine if I named the kid after my ex and without your permission, you would obviously be upset. I don't, I think what's lacking here is her ability to empathize with the situation.
Well, like, I think first off, you need to establish certain things. I don't know if it's gonna be helpful bringing up the fact that you didn't want a kid because it is too late. But like, you need to one be like, "Look, we made a decision. Can you not understand that regardless of the name, I would be upset that you just completely ignore my input in this situation because it is my kid too." Now, at this point, you have gotten the paternity test and you know it is your kid too. Secondly, ask her why. Just be like, "Why do you want this name?" And if she's like, "I really like it," just be like, "Okay, can you not understand where I'm coming from, where this name has weight, like a lot of weight?" Because especially, again, even if it was just their first name, that'd be one thing. But what's with their first name and their middle name? There's no way on earth she can back down and pretend it doesn't have to do with this X. You know what I mean? Even before, it'd be a flimsy fucking excuse. When it's their like actual name and middle name, like there is no other possibility.
Yeah.
So be like, "Why do you want this? And can you not see why I wouldn't be happy with this?" And if she's just ignoring all these things, I don't know what to tell you, but you guys shouldn't be in a relationship together.
But like the thing is, like, even if they end their relationship, he arguably should still have a role in this kid's life.
hmm Well, that's
And
another thing. It's like, I don't think you should ever back down and sign that thing because you're this kid's father for better or for worse. And it's like, as Dane said, you need to be able to raise this kid without having resentment,
Yeah.
you know?
And like,
So,
look, it's already going to be an uphill battle for you. You didn't want the kid. You know he was supposed to be named the X. You know what I mean? Like it's already going to be very hard for you to put those aside. Hopefully, you know, the paternal instinct kicks in. You fall in love with this kid and you do anything for him as a parent should. Hopefully that all sort of like supersedes your own sort of ego.
mhm.
Um, and I really hope that's the outcome for this, regardless of like whether you guys stay together, whatever. I think what we're both agreeing on is like the name has to change. This name cannot go through, and this needs to be like the line you draw in the sand. You need to be like, I refuse to name my kid after your ex.
Mhm. And I think there's definitely no harm. Again, neither of us are lawyers, despite the legal advice we threw out earlier. I don't think there's any harm in getting all of this in writing, maybe in texts, because I don't really know, again, if she can get this through without you or go to a court or later on, if you decide you don't want anything to do with the kid, like force you to pay child support. But like if you have it documented that you're having this argument and she's trying to strong arm you into naming the child one way and she's trying to name it after her ex and like all these things, they're not indicative of a healthy relationship and they could stand to you if something happened legally. So I don't think there's any harm in having a record of them. And also just want to establish that none of these things, no matter how it shakes out, are the kid's fault. So, you know, don't take it out
Yeah,
on the kid.
yeah,
But yeah, I think you need to put the foot down because if not now, when? You need to try to talk to her in a way that like isn't aggressive if possible, and just literally like don't get sidetracked, don't be stonewalled. You know, just try to get down to basics like why do you want this, and can you not see why I would be upset? Why
yeah,
are we not making a decision together? Why are you going against the decision we made? Like, because not only in this instance, but for the entirety of this kid's life, you are going to need to make decisions together. And if she won't do that, then like you need to fucking sort it now rather than, you know, after 4 years of bad parenting. Also, get that paternity test.
So we've helped quite a few people so far. What would you say about taking a quick little break and helping ourselves?
I would like that very much, Dan.
Okay.
Support for Fuck Buddies is brought to you by Manscaped, who are the best in men's below the waist grooming. They offer precision engineered tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technological developments to provide you with the best tools for your grooming experience. And Manscaped are trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. It's time for you to join the movement for all your below the waist grooming needs. Speaking of which, Dane has a story about his taint.
I do, and I've been dying to tell you this. This is the whole reason we started this show, in fact.
He wouldn't even tell me until right now.
Look, shaving your balls is never fun. There's a visceral terror in bringing a moving blade to your downstairs region. And I've definitely nicked my balls once or twice, but the most traumatizing event for me was I was started cleaning up the taint area, just making it nice and presentable. But it was right before I was going to work, and I just did a number on it. I got a little too close. I cut myself. It fucking sucked. And as you guys know, I work in a bar. It was the middle of summer. It was like August. It was 40 degrees outside. It was hot. And I was trying to survive walking around and running around on my feet for like 9 hours in this sweltering heat with a cut between my legs. And it was
Sounds like the worst.
it actually was. It's probably one of the worst shifts I've ever worked in a bar, and I have worked like every St. Patrick's Day in an Irish bar for the past 4 years.
And that one day where everything flooded downstairs and there was like an
Yes,
inch of water on the ground.
I've literally worked shifts where actual shit has floated across our restaurant as our drains have flooded. So that should be saying a lot.
Now, Dane, is there any way we can avoid horrible taint accidents like the one you had?
Well, you are in luck, Niall. Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer specifically for balls in mind. They have spent over 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created, the Lawnmower 3.0.
They've sacrificed their time to keep our balls safe, and I
Let me
appreciate
just
that.
tell you, dedicating a year and a half to more or less, I imagine, just looking at computer screens with like 3D images of balls. I assume that's the only thing they could have been doing for that year and a half. That's dedication, and they did it for you.
Yeah. And what's great is like the things that have come out of that. Notably, there's a ceramic blade, which reduces grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin safe technology. Everything about this is premium, even the battery life. It lasts up to 90 minutes. So no matter how big your balls are, you're gonna get around them.
And the nice thing is like you can take your time with it too. Yeah, it's the one thing you don't want to rush is shaving your balls.
And the best part is you don't even need to do it anywhere awkward because they've waterproof technology, so you can do it in the shower, which one, it's comforting. Two, takes care of the mess.
I'm so hyped for that. I literally, anytime I've ever shaved my balls, I've like straddled the toilet as to not make a mess. And I'm so excited to just kind of like have warm water flowing upon me and not have to worry about cleaning up. It's just all down the drain.
Also, you can do it in the dark if you're really daring because they have an LED light which illuminates grooming areas. Don't do that, but it will help you get in for a closer, more precise trim.
They've also upgraded the motor. If you do have a lawnmower, hey, good for you. But it's time to upgrade. This bad boy has 7,000 RPM and quiet stroke technology.
That does not mean you can, jerk off a quick one in stealth mode. It has nothing to do with that. That one's still on you. It just means you won't bother anybody with your shaving from the next room.
There's nothing worse than like doing a solid deep grooming and walking out. Like I have a beard. So it's very obvious if I have not shaven. So if I used to live with a roommate, I live with my girlfriend now, it's so uncomfortable or awkward sometimes. You live with someone and they hear the trimmer going on for, a good solid chunk of time. And then you walk out and you still have a giant beard. And it's like, oh, okay, I know exactly what you were doing in there. With the quiet stroke, listen to this bad boy. Hold on. You ready for this? Listen to that.
Listen to what?
Exactly. I've heard vibrators that are louder than this thing.
That's true. I love that. And also these days, like with coronavirus, people's schedules are kind of all over the place. You know what I mean? Someone might still be work from home. Someone else might be getting up late, staying up late. If you wanna groom yourself at an unconventional hour, you're not gonna upset anybody. That's nice.
Exactly. Another really nice thing about this is it comes with this charging stand that is so sleek and so it's weird that I'm excited about this, but my girlfriend is kind of a stickler for how the bathroom looks and how it's arranged and everything. I managed to sneak this bad boy in, and you wouldn't even know it's there. It's it's just kind of tucked away in the corner. The cord, after you've done charging it, the cord can be removed from it as well, so you can just kind of like have it chilling there. It doesn't take up any space. It looks nice, and it's just a part of the bathroom. You don't have to worry about it.
So, Dane, if I want to trim that junk of mine, can you help me out?
Not only can I help you out, but Manscaped will help you out by offering you 20% off and free shipping across the entire store. That includes the Lawnmower 3.0. That includes all of the bundles, all of the creams, 20% off, free shipping if you use our code BUDDIES at manscaped.com.
So BUDDIES?
That is correct.
Perfect.
So take a second, treat yourself to something nice. 2020 was a wild year. 2021 can be the year that you have the most pristine balls you've ever had in your life. So get the Lawnmower 3.0. Your balls will thank you.
Once again, that is to get 20% off and free shipping with the code BUDDIES at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping, which I do appreciate because there's nothing worse than getting to the end of your transaction and that shipping cost just getting you. And that's at manscaped.com with the code BUDDIES. Help yourself out, help your balls out, and help us out. All right, so I feel like we haven't had enough seduction in our lives. So I'm going to hit you with a little bit of advice from seduction and then a question from seduction. You ready?
No.
This is by Newboy6969
Hell yeah.
under the topic of outer game. And this is titled Less Charming, More Sexy. As women get more experience, they respond less to charm. However, being sexy never goes out of style. And thankfully, we can learn because they've given us examples of the charming to sexy transformation. So you're so beautiful, it's out. Never say it. You're what I want. That's what we're doing because that's sexy. I want to see your naked body. Charming, obviously, the epitome of charm. That's out. That's gone. We can't say that charming, that patented charming sentence anymore, which...
Man, remember those classic George Clooney scenes where he just leans over and he's like, I want to see your naked body. And everyone's like, ooh, George Clooney, you're so charming.
Now, can you guess what the sexy transformation of I want to see your naked body is?
I think it's gonna be take off your clothes.
You know what? That would probably work better than don't waste my time having clothes on.
Wow. Hey, time is money, and right now you're just burning it. Get those clothes off.
So you gotta be sexy by matching a attitude to the narcissistic appeal of women. It's more powerful, and it's not about their looks. You can mix some charm in if you have to. They're not mutually exclusive. But the best part about being sexy is you're being honest, because there's an underlying duplicity and charm.
I like. I would argue that being like, "Don't waste my time with your clothes" is less honest than "I want to see your naked body."
It's also just a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like this guy probably has never seen a naked body. I can't imagine anyone, male, female, straight, lesbian, gay, like anywhere inside or outside of those spectrums, be responsive to "Don't waste my time wearing clothes."
I think like maybe if you were in an established relationship and you were doing like a, CEO secretary role play or
Yes,
something like that, maybe. But no, it's so demeaning and dismissive and aggressive and shitty. It's like what?
it's yeah. Just go to
Okay.
the question. I don't want to hear or
Okay.
think about this.
This is by Reddit Gizmos. What kind of stories are good to tell someone to build rapport with them? It probably depends on the age group. Am I right? If so, what stories would be suited towards men in their early 20s? It would have to be fake, but believable, as I don't have good stories myself. Perhaps a good one would be opening up to people about your vulnerabilities?
What?
What kind of stories are good to
No,
tell
no,
someone to build
no.
rapport?
Don't. You don't have to do it again.
Now, Dane, it has to be fake because they don't have any good stories themselves.
But okay, I know we're gonna make fun of this person mercilessly, but
Yes.
this is quintessentially what is wrong with pickup and seduction and like all this shit is the fact that like instead of focusing on being a normal human being who's had who's had literally any experience, you don't have to be
Mhm.
like I was whitewater rafting down the Grand Rapids. Like you don't have to have those stories. It's cool if you
No.
do, but like
Mhm.
just being able to tell a story that you're passionate about something that happened to you that matters to you should be enough.
Yes. And also, I do not think you can actually ever build rapport with someone when you're fucking lying to them.
Well,
They're
I
building
think yeah.
rapport with a fake you, maybe,
Okay, yeah, that's a valid point. It's like,
right?
yes, you're building rapport, but it's like it's not genuine, so therefore it is useless.
Yeah, it's like building a bridge on like sand. It's gonna collapse. So I guess advice: don't.
Assuming you're not just doing this to have sex with them once and then never talk to them again. If you spend, let's say, the first week of getting to know this person, regaling them with these bullshit stories, at some point in time, they're gonna bring it up. When
Mhm,
you're out with your friend, like if you guys end up dating and being together, you're gonna be at like a family dinner, Christmas dinner, and she's gonna be like, "Oh, like that time you did this," and your
mhm.
parents are gonna be like, "The fuck is she talking about?"
Yep. Now
And
the
then you're in this awkward thing of being like, "Oh, hey, you know that whole basis of our relationship? Lies. Just got them off the internet."
it's terrible. And also, even if you are trying to hook up with someone once, that's super fucking scummy to just lie and pretend you're someone and then be like, "Oh, I fucked you, lol. It's not actually me." Tear the mask off and run away. That's super gross. Real advice: maybe just fucking be yourself. And if you feel like you don't have any good stories, one, you're probably wrong because there's no such like unless you literally have done nothing your entire life, which I think is actually impossible.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. The things I read in seduction, it seems like people have like invested so much time and effort in the quote unquote theory of life. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Of like learning how life should be or learning how to like, min max life and then have forgotten that like to do anything.
But like even when like I could tell a funny story right now about us playing fucking Farm Simulator during the lockdown. Like you know what I mean? That's not exactly me going out and jumping in some rapids. It's me playing a very dumb free game online by myself in a room connected to you over the internet.
But what
And
I'm saying is I don't think these people have built the connections to have someone on the other end.
It doesn't even necessarily need to have someone on the other end. Like it could be you're playing Cyberpunk and a funny fucking glitch happened. Like that's the thing. It's like if you're talking to someone and they don't want to hear about Cyberpunk and your whole thing is that you play Cyberpunk, it doesn't matter that you don't have a good story for them because you're not going to gel anyway. If you're talking to someone who's into gaming, that story's going to go down just fine. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it that's the thing. Your stories don't have to be anything. They just have to be real and they have to be about you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like arguably the more honest you are, the better, because if they don't like it, then you're doing yourself a favor by jettisoning them and finding someone who does give a shit.
Alternatively, I would like to also add that like maybe you focus less on this quest for woman
Mhm.
and realign yourself of being like, hey, if you could consciously make the decision of being like, I have no good stories, what that translates into is you haven't really done anything.
Mhm.
So what you should do is go do some stuff.
The hour it would take you to sift through all the bullshit people are posting online and then pick one and then learn it. You could have gone and done a jujitsu class. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
could have gone and fucking did a hike. I don't know.
Yeah. Just go for a walk and
Yeah.
like actually, take the headphones out, go for a walk and like observe. I
No,
promise you,
Dane.
you'll see something fucking wild.
Dane, you can't tell people to take the headphones out, then they won't listen to us. Put the headphones back in.
Sorry, keep one headphone out.
Yeah, keep one headphone in, and it's us.
Yeah, I like anytime I hear things like this, and I see it a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I'm boring." Like anytime it's like, okay, cool, then don't be. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, or stop assuming that the things that you mean something to you are boring because you think other people find them boring.
Well, that's another thing. There is nothing that's boring. Like,
No.
there's pretty much nothing that's boring. And even if it is boring to me, it won't be boring to somebody else. You know what I mean? But if you think it's boring, guess what? No one else is going to give a fuck. It could be anything. And no one else is going to care because if you're bored talking about it or you refuse to, it is going to be boring.
Yeah.
Like have a fucking like have some confidence in yourself. The shit you like, no matter what it is not boring.
Yeah. It's very very simple to being an engaging human being. I would honestly like. I can't remember the name of the book, but there's a book about like how to be an engaging person. And like rule number one is listen. So like if you want to build rapport with someone, the best way to do it isn't to tell stories, it's to listen to other people's stories.
Mhm.
And from there, you don't need to tell stories. People love talking about themselves. We fucking do it for an hour every week. Um so I think like what you need to do is shift away from like engage as opposed to be engaging, because
Mhm.
if you manage that, if you can find someone who's willing to be like, hey, actually, boom, here's a story I'm going to tell you, they'll give you can ask questions about it, you can reflect on like if they do, or like, oh hey, I did the great whitewater rafting, be like, that's insane, I would never do that, I'm terrified of drowning. Boom, you've revealed a vulnerability, you've revealed a fact about you, you've complimented them.
Mhm. Also, like, there's nothing better than being honest. If someone's like, "Oh, I went to these 5 countries," and you're like, "Oh, yeah, I've been to those too," but you haven't, that's a conversation killer right there because either you don't open up and that's done, or they ask you about shit and you lie and they either like you dig a hole so deep that's gonna fuck you one day, or they're just like, "This person's bullshitting, I'm out." Meanwhile, if you're like, oh, I've actually never traveled anywhere, they're going to be like, oh man, it's so great. And you can ask them more questions about their travels. And that
Yeah.
is a very interesting conversation, even though the only thing you've done is say you haven't done the thing. Like, it's that fucking simple.
One of my biggest pet peeves for this is something I've trained out of myself, because I hate when other people do it, is
Mhm.
when someone is like, "Oh, I'm big into this band. Have you heard of them before?" And people are like, "Oh yeah, I think so. I don't know any of their songs by name, but like I've only listened a little bit." And it's like
Mhm.
they've never heard of them.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm just like, no, there's nothing wrong with if someone says, "Oh, my favorite movie is this," and be like, "I've never seen it. I've never heard of it."
Mhm.
Or, if someone's like, "Hey, my favorite band is this," be like, "This is a great." It's almost better if you
It's
haven't heard of
100%
it,
better. Yeah.
because you can be like, "Let's listen to it." Like if you're on a date, scoot onto the other side of the table, put in your headphones, and you guys can like get close
Listen to our podcast.
and yeah, and listen to like a thing of it. Or, if it is a podcast or something, most popular ones have animatics. Be like, next time you're hanging out, be like, hey, I want to show you this. And now
Oh
you're
man,
doing something together. You're engaging together.
I think we'll have hit the big time when we have an animatic, and I'm excited. Man, if someone out there wants to make an animatic,
Yeah, if only we knew someone who was like a professional animator who could animate a clip of
that would be
us.
cool.
That'd
Hmm.
be really cool. I don't know who would do that though.
No, they'd have to be very talented and really cool. Oh, I don't know. We'll
Uh,
circle back to that.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
but yeah, like also like the fucking world bending pain of coming up with a good fake story to open up to someone about your vulnerabilities. Like it's such an agonizing situation to even imagine. No, just no. Don't do it. Be honest. Fuck this bullshit kind of thinking because if it works, it's bad, and if it doesn't work, it's bad. There's no there is no fucking upside.
yeah, you
You've either
haven't
built
won.
a life of lies or you look like a fucking lunatic. And even if you build this life of lies, you're just delaying the point at which you look like a fucking lunatic.
This is a fairly quick one. This comes from Reddit user Standard Newspaper 665. How to make up for being a short guy. 23-year-old male. Hey everyone. I've been posting this question in some other forums because I want to get some diverse thoughts on the topic. I myself am about 5'6", 5'7" if I were stretching. I've come to terms with it, and it doesn't bother me too much. But obviously, there are times where I wish I had a couple more inches on me. In society today, there's a clear bias towards men who are taller. It's a simple evolutionary mindset that has stuck with us for centuries and won't change soon. In dating and in professional communities, men who are taller tend to reap more rewards simply because of this physical difference. Don't believe me? Do a simple Google search. My height doesn't bother me, but I'm curious how one who is shorter can overcome this stereotype of bias. Pretty confident professionally and socially, but I want to continue to do all I can to excel in both dating and my work life. Essentially, I want to stand even with those who may appear taller than me. Any advice, specific experience from men or women would be greatly appreciated.
It's a weird one.
It's super
I
strange to be like, I'm not bothered by this at all, but here's all this rambling of me being
Yeah,
bothered.
I didn't want to say it, but like it's the whole I'm 5'6", 5'7" if I stretch. That alone tells me that you do care. Like you
Yeah.
don't need to qualify your height and make it a little bit like your height is your height. You know what I mean? You're putting that in. I can tell that you care, and that's fine. I don't know if I agree with the whole tall people make it in every aspect of life. Do you agree with that?
I don't know necessarily about professionally. Like, I don't know if tall people are like more likely to get promoted. Like, I don't know about
Mhm.
the metrics of that. But like, there's definitely a bias for taller men in like dating for sure.
Yeah, I'm not talking about dating. I mean every aspect of life. Because that's what
Yeah,
they're claiming. And I'm not going to lie. Most of the really tall people I know, he acts as if they have this gravitas and this aura. A lot of the time, they're like big, clumsy spiders that just knock things over all the time.
yeah. I don't know. Like again, I don't know. Although apparently, a simple Google search will fix that for us. Um,
Okay, well, I'm going to Google it right now.
You do a quick Google search. But as someone who's about this guy's height, I'm a little taller than him, but like not by much. Have I faced discrimination, quote unquote, on online dating? And pretty much specifically only online because people can be a little bit more shallow there. I've definitely been like unmatched or ghosted when women have been like, "How tall are you?" And I tell them, and they're like, just nothing back for them. Yeah, that's a bit of a fucking kick in the teeth. It
Mhm.
sucks, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to be with that person. Like I have no desire, like any porniness I had for that person, gone
Oh, yeah,
because I'm
because
just like,
like, if you're that shallow and weird and you suck, it's like, cool. As much as I'm sure that's not a fun experience to go through, it is like them doing you a favor.
yeah, because it's just like, all right, cool, you're kind of a shitty person. I have no. Also, if we're not compatible, like fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. And like also, you have never had any problem with women, as I have seen time and time again. And that's I know people do struggle with height and dating, especially online dating and like profiles, blah blah blah. But like, I don't know a single person who's shorter or short or whatever who's had any difficulty like in the long game because it's like, yeah, you might not hook up with that one person who has it in their fucking profile, but it's like if you don't let this shit affect you and you kind of wade through the amount of like really shallow rejections and don't let it get to you, you're going to be fine on the other end because there are more than enough people out there who are either going to be shorter or not give a fuck.
I mean, there was very specifically a point in my life where I literally could only attract taller women. There was a very strange tall woman phase in my
Mhm.
bachelor where I was just like, what is happening? I remember specifically making out with a woman at the Ossington who had to lean against the post and like do sort of like a wall squat so that I could reach her.
She was like 6'2". She was
She,
a tall
she
girl.
was huge.
She had
And
some
like
height to her.
theoretically, there's no reason why that should happen. Like like I said, she literally had to do a wall squat so that I could make out with her.
I will say my brief Google showed absolutely nothing apart from people talking about dating. And the fourth fucking thing was why short men are better in bed. So there you go.
Let's go.
I do feel like this person is maybe, and I could be wrong, but I feel like they're a little too hung up on it and they are inferring a lot more about their height than is necessary. I do not think being shorter, and like what they said they're 5'6", that's not even that short at
Hey,
all.
remember this? Tom Cruise is 5'6".
Isn't he like 5'2" or something? Isn't he like,
He's not, no, he's not that small. No.
I'm pretty sure he's like,
No, I'm pretty sure he's 5'6". Are you Googling Tom Cruise's height?
yeah, oh, he's 5'7". Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
there you
but like, I really don't think that's the case. And in dating, yes, there is this weird kind of like, kind of like aura surrounding like your height. But it's like, again, you just weed out those people, I think, and don't let it bother you, most importantly. And like you'll find the rest of the people. You know what I mean? Like fuck it. Take it as like an opportunity to get those people out of your life as quickly as possible because they're out there. We're actually gonna have a moving, oh no, that's something else. Never mind. Um it was for a Tinder later, but it's
go.
not about height, it's about money. But yeah, I that's my opinion. Just fuck it. Like, don't think about that. Don't over analyze it. There's nothing you need to make up for because I believe that's the title, right? How to make up for.
Yeah, how to make up for being short as a guy. Yeah,
Fuck that. You
exactly.
don't need to make up for anything. You're totally fine the way you are. If someone doesn't like that, fuck them. Like it doesn't matter. Move on.
Yeah.
You'll definitely find someone else. You know what I mean?
Well,
You're.
humble brag. I've done fine with women in my 33 years of life,
Mhm.
and at no point in time have I ever tried to like be tall. Like I've never worn the lifts. Like I've never had fought with my height. It's just like
Mhm.
it's one of the few things you don't have control over.
That's the thing.
You
It's
know what I
like
mean?
you literally cannot change it. So the two options you have are get over it. Again, obviously easier said than done, or be bothered by it. And being bothered by it is not going to help you. And there's always going to be people out there who are picky about X, Y, and Z. But like your height is not that important, especially considering you cannot change it. Right. So it's like
Yeah.
if someone's willing to toss you aside for that, great. You don't want to be with that person anyway. And that's
No,
that's pretty much it. Like that's the most important thing. It's like if they suck, they suck. Good. Move on. Find someone who doesn't.
it's one of those things where you just gotta sort of like, this is me. Let's go.
Yeah, and fuck this whole like mindset of making up for it. You have nothing to make up for. It's not. It's no negative. It's just a fucking number.
All right, let's move into Tinders
All right.
because we are closing in. At the end of every episode, or towards the end of every episode, we like to take a look at online dating profiles. We call it Tinders, but it's a little bit of everything, and comb them for red flags, and the effort to one, laugh at them, and two, hopefully make your online dating profile a little bit better by avoiding these catastrophes.
Some are good, but it's very rare. We should start
Rarely.
keeping like track of how many ones we've enjoyed.
6.
Dude, this is a powerful opening line from Moat. I can accept the video. I am not a robot. I am a foreign exchange investor. If you are not an investor, you just want to work for others with peace of mind. Don't like me. I am also looking for a man who can get married, but I hope you can invest and develop our future with me. If you hate investing, please don't like me.
Nice.
Just that
That's pretty
strong
cool.
financial thread coming through. Also, if someone says they're not a robot, I don't know. I suspect them.
100%. If you match with this person, you have to immediately send them a captcha.
100%.
Come at me. Let me see you solve this before I before I give you any of my good material.
Also, what does I can accept the video mean? I can accept the video. I am not a robot. I'm giving it a
I
5
don't.
out of 10 so that this robot doesn't turn on me when the robots revolt.
I am gonna abstain because I want to be friends with robots.
Wow. This is Barbara. No relationship means I don't have and I don't want it. But If you don't have love to share with the world and me, don't waste your time. 5'10, please pay attention. Yes, I'm Brazilian. If you're proud of never marry or no kids, please swipe left.
Huh? What? I'm single and proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're have never been married, you're garbage?
Yep.
Is she looking for divorcees?
I have no idea, but they're getting a strong one.
Yeah, I hate all of it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
I'm looking for widowers, single dads, and divorcees. Get at me. Let's go.
Some tips to the ones who are unable to start a decent conversation. Do not start saying hey. Do not give personal compliments. You don't know me to call me hot, hottie, cutie, hun, etc. Be polite. No one likes cheesy convos. Do not be arrogant. Be honest, simple. Go straight to the point. Be a gentleman. All women like them. Remember, intelligence is the sexiest thing. Good luck. From Sarah.
Damn. I love when people are like, don't just say hey. I always say hey. That was my opening line for all my Tinders, was always just like, hey. Because like that's how you start a conversation. Like what else? Unless there was a great picture or a great like hook for me to be like, okay, you need to explain this or to comment on. I would always just start by saying hello.
Yeah, I don't really remember what I did. It was always different. Just kind of depended on what I felt. I feel like I usually commented on something either in the photos or on their profile, but like I don't know. I always felt like it was a bit of a crap shot. Some people were you said hey, they'd say it back. Other people you'd say something interesting, funny, you just get nothing.
The thing I never got a response from was, how is your day of the week going? If I ever was like, how's your Friday going? Never heard anything back. And I have no idea why. I'm sure it was just coincidence, but I literally became so superstitious about using that. I just stopped saying it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've done it and haven't met with great results. Okay, what do you think of this profile?
It's a 1.
Yeah, you know what? I will bet this person is also painful to talk to.
You know what it probably is? It's probably one of those people who has like the rehearsed script in their head, and if you deviate it from it slightly, you're, a terrible person.
All right, this is WWW, What Women Want. Trudeau has sent me on a not-so-secret quest to help eliminate trash by 2023. Despite our best efforts, some of you may remain trash, but few will get the match. Consider yourself lucky, or maybe someone on the other side has told us to swipe on you. Hit me up if you want to learn how to get a relationship laid or relearn your social skills to make friends or order a Starbucks. Whatever it is, let's figure it out one step at a time.
Is this like a service?
I don't know. The picture is someone with their hand over their tits. Like,
okay, so this is
naked,
definitely like
naked, like hands draped artfully over the nips, wearing a lot of henna.
This is a 100% like a male, like an incel or a like dating coach called What Women Want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah,
this is run by dudes.
Also, should we do this? It's going to be a 0 from me.
Yeah, I hated it. It's nothing.
This is Yasmin. I know I'm hot. I don't like brokies. If you are an Aries, don't even bother. Self-motivated, I like fitness and a healthy lifestyle. I'm funny AF. I'm tall, 5'9". I'm Latina.
Is brokies poor people?
I assume so.
That's too bad. It's a terrible name.
I don't like brokies.
You know what? I was charming as hell when I was poor.
Me too.
Ain't nothing wrong with being poor.
Well, there's something wrong with being charming. You gotta be sexy.
Yeah.
Dear Yasmin, don't waste my time with your clothes on. Yeah, that's...
0.
If like not only saying I don't like brokies, being real into fucking star signs, and then saying you're funny as fuck, I'm gonna guess you're not. I'm sorry.
That's gonna do us. Now, it's a pleasure to be here and talking with you. So thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for supporting us. We've had a very strong start of the year. I will say this last week, United States beat the Philippines in listenership.
Wait, what?
They came. We had more listeners in the US than we did in the Philippines.
Oh shit.
So we said it couldn't be done, and they done did it.
It's because of our striking political commentary.
So the Philippines, you gotta get back in there. You're not out of the fight, but you're now in second place.
You've lost the battle, but you're still winning the war. Let's be fair.
Yeah. If you have a question for us or just want to chat, we're cool with that too. You can find us on various social media. You can hit us up on Facebook at FCK Buddies Podcast. You can find us on Twitter at FCK_Buddies. Hit us up on the Instagram at FCK Buddies Podcast. You can also email us at fbuddiespodcast@gmail.com, or you can visit us online at fbuddiespodcast.com or plentyofbeef.ca.
Hell yeah. Thank you to Josh Eagle and the Harvest Cities for their song Paper Stars.
Now, do you have some bad sex writing for
You
us?
know I do. Now this
Perfect.
week, I saw it on Twitter. I do not have the source of where this is from. So I'm sorry if out there you wrote this terrible piece of trash. Feel free to let me know, and I will tag you later on. Sorry for calling it a terrible piece of trash, but also it is. I position myself over her and then drag my breasts across her back, just barely touching her skin with them. Slowly, ever so achingly slowly, I trail my now hardened nipples down to her ass, to the tops of her thighs. Ah, her hips are really grinding now. Inspired, I take my right tit in my hand and stuff it into her crack so she can feel my flesh all up and down her. Her heat rises higher, and her hips move more furiously, sucking my tit into her.
Uh huh. What's wrong with that?
That's exactly how sex works.
I mean, that's what I do. I
This
don't even
one's
have
for
tits. I just
uh,
use my nipples. Just get them
your
right on in
engorged man nipples.
there. That's pretty neat. That's a pretty cool way that these ladies are having sex.
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone's actually done this.
I'm going to imagine that it's just like you don't just suck like bloop, oh shit, my dick's near you, bloop, it just got sucked in. Like you don't have a tractor beam on your
Mm,
ass.
maybe.
Also, like a boob, like how thin is this boob?
How big that ass? Maybe that's a question you should be asking. Assing. Well, my name is Dave Miller.
And I'm now Spain.
We've been your fuck buddies.
Stay safe.